airport last week getting my free mammogram at security. And, I don't really know what the big deal is with the security thing, why everybody's complaining so much about all these new procedures and regulations. Because if you think about it, it's really the only part of the airport where you can get your baggage handled for free. Yeah, I also don't understand why every time we get on an airplane we have to hear like the same safety procedure over and over again. Because seriously, if you can't figure out how to get in and out of a seatbelt at this point, you're probably more of a hazard to yourself and the people around you than that guy that couldn't figure out how to light a match and set his shoe on fire. And we probably shouldn't be showing you how to get unstrapped from your seat. Anyway, like anyone's even going to follow those directions if the plane is going down, Like, help yourself with a mask before helping those around you. Yeah, no shit. I'm gonna help myself to all the masks, thank you. And all the mini bottles of Jack Daniels. Which is stupid, too, if you think about it, because what you really should be thinking about in that situation is how quickly you can get to the least hideous looking person on the airplane, because this is probably going to be your last chance to join the Mile High Club, and you really don't want to be so drunk that you can't perform. Anyway, so I used to find myself totally confused, dumbstruck when I would watch TV sometimes, like trying to understand where a particular TV ad concept came from, like, what were these people thinking? Like, not only how did they come to the idea, but then how did the client approve it? Like, I guess I just figured that people sat around a room and they would brainstorm, and then suddenly it was like, I got it, tampon-tastic, and then it's on TV. Well, now I work in advertising, so I can actually tell you that all of that creative work that you see is actually a lot of deep research and hours of focus groups. And so yes, actually what we've discovered is that women do feel like twirling on the beach wearing white, cuddling kittens, and having pillow fights when it's that time of the month. Because we've done the research, and those are sure signs that you're feeling tampon-tastic. I mean, I don't know about all the rest of the ladies here, but I totally feel tampon-tastic every month. Spot on. Speaking of tampons, my parents went on their honeymoon to Paris before I was born, and so they tell me. And they realized that they had forgot to bring that, the plug adapter for the plug. And so they didn't speak any French, so they looked in the dictionary, and the word for plug is tampon, and the word for electrique. So they took that knowledge and they went out shopping in Paris. And it was only after they'd been kicked out of like a dozen hardware stores and another dozen grocery stores, they found out that they were actually going around Paris asking for a vibrator. Good to know for future honeymoons, And, I'm now married to a French guy. Woo! And we lived in Paris together for a year. And in the early days, I had a really hard time remembering which words were masculine and which were feminine. So I just, figured I'd pick one and stick with it. It seemed easier. And that's how I found out, actually, that if you really want to annoy French people, bastardize their language on purpose. Because I had this colleague, and she would get so mad every time I used the wrong form of the word, And I explained to her, look, hey, this way I'm getting it right 50% of the time. And she was like, yes, and with that accent you are getting it wrong 100% of the time. French Americans. Who knew? Anyway, now, my husband and I, even though we have a lot of miscommunications, we totally get along. And I think that's probably because we don't understand each other most of the time. So I took him to San Diego a few years ago. That's where I'm from. And we went to SeaWorld, and I got him all excited to see Shamu, the killer whale. So I was telling him about how the Shamu swims around, and he leaps in the air, and he touches his nose to a ball, and all these cool things. And halfway through the show, he's like, where is Shamu? And I pointed, at the whale. And that's when I learned that chameau in French means camel. We were so disappointed, both of us, after we realized. Yeah. Well, last weekend I took him to the professional bull riding at Madison Square Garden. And after I explained the whole scoring system to him, he turns to me and he goes, "Oh, that's fun. I'm going to start giving you a performance score in bed." And I was like, "That's totally fine, sweetie. Just remember, the score only counts if the ride lasts longer than 8 seconds."